Welcome to Sports Guy Talking. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about the Celtics blowing a chance to go up 3-1 in their series against the 76ers, despite the fact that the Celtics had 2 timeouts left in overtime. While being down by 1 point in the game, their head coach Joe Mazzulla elected to not use a timeout. This ended up costing the Celtics as they ran out of time to get a shot up before the clock expired. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So, here it is. How much trust do you have in Joe Mazzulla for the Celtics? And honestly, I don't have a lot of trust for him. You know why I say that? It's not because I think that he's a terrible coach. I actually think that he could become a good coach one day. However, it is blatantly clear that Joe Mazzulla is not ready to be a great head coach right now. Look, this is his first year on the job, and Joe Mazzulla has struggled to close out games. For whatever reason, the Boston Celtics have failed to close out games whenever the game is close. Usually there's the saying that if you can find a way to keep the game close, you can find a way to win it. Well, for this coach, if you find a way to keep this game close, he will find a way to mess it up, and that's exactly what the Boston Celtics have done, not only in the regular season, but in the playoffs. This is now the third occasion where the Boston Celtics had a chance to win a close game, and they couldn't close the deal, and they couldn't get it done. The first example was in Game 5 of the first round against the Atlanta Hawks, where they allowed Trae Young to hit a 3 late in the game, and then the Boston Celtics, they couldn't get a good shot when they tried to take the game-winning shot in Game 5. They also did not play great defense on Trae Young. They allowed Trae Young to burn them like that. However, the woes for the Celtics did not stop in the second round. You look at Game 1, they were up 4 late in that game. They had a chance to close out Game 1 at their home floor, and they couldn't do it because they left James Harden open at the top of the key, and he basically sinks a huge triple right in front of their face in Game 1. It also didn't help that the Celtics couldn't get a good shot up late in the shot clock in Game 1. That allowed a turnover where Tyrese Maxey got an easy layup for that to happen. And then you see what happened with the Boston Celtics yesterday in Game 4. 2 timeouts left, 18.2 seconds left. 76ers are up 1. James Harden just hit a huge corner 3. Celtics are currently down 116 to 115. Any coach should be able to know you got to call a timeout in that situation. I mean, what are you saving the timeouts for? It's not like you get to carry those timeouts back to Boston for Game 5. Use one of them. I was watching that game and I was screaming, take a timeout. Take a timeout. What are you doing? Not only did they not take a timeout, they took forever to get their play started. They were basically passing the ball around. Jason Tatum is just stalling. Then all of a sudden they call a pick and roll with like 5 seconds left. Jason Tatum's driving to the rim. Obviously, he's not open. He's got 2 guys on him, including Joel Embiid, so he has to pass it out to Marcus Smart. Here's the problem, though. He passes it out with under 2 seconds left. Well, by that point, Marcus Smart, unless he has a super quick release, he's not going to get that shot up in time. And here's the crazy thing, too. That's just mind-boggling. Marcus Smart is not a great three-point shooter, but he actually made the three-point shot, which is just crazy to me, because out of all the threes that he made, this was the one that he made, and he didn't even have the decency to get the shot up in time. I mean, Marcus Smart hit 4 threes in this game, which is actually really good for his standards, because Marcus Smart is not a great three-point shooter. But the Boston Celtics, if they had just called timeout, they could have gotten themselves situated, they could have gotten into a play sooner, and they didn't have to run out of time. The way that they lost this game was stupid. They did not have to lose a game this way. And that's why I've been critical of the Boston Celtics all year long, privately in my mind, and to some of the friends that I've been talking basketball with. You know why I've been concerned with the Boston Celtics all year? It's not the talent. They got the talent. It's that their coaching is a deficiency right now for them. I think Joe Mazzulla is a fine coach. I think that he can do some things that are really good for them. He can get along with the players really well. He knows how to develop them. He knows how to make the players like each other in the locker room. Locker room presence is not an issue in Boston. However, you look at this Boston Celtics team and you're wondering, why can't this team close in tight games? And this is the reason why, because their coach doesn't know how to handle situational basketball. Joe Mazzulla has made tremendous mistakes in it, and although it hasn't costed the Boston Celtics a playoff series yet, it's going to. If it's not going to cost them in this round, it's going to cost them in the next round, and if it somehow doesn't happen in the next round, it's going to happen in the NBA Finals. You look at this Boston Celtics team, they've got Jason Tatum, who seems to be a superstar already in his own right. They've already got Jaylen Brown, a nice 1-2 punch. They've got Al Horford, tremendous defender. He can knock down clutch shots. Marcus Smart, solid defender. His three-point shot comes and goes, but overall, he's a pretty solid player. And they got Derek White, another solid player. And they got Grant Williams, good defender off the bench. Robert Williams, the third, good rim protector that they got in there as well. And then they got Malcolm Brogdon, who can provide scoring off the bench. This Celtics team is deep. It's not like last year where they had to play Peyton Pritchard a ton of minutes at the point guard position because they didn't have a ton of depth. If Ime Udoka was coaching this Boston Celtics team right now, the Boston Celtics would not have the issues that they're currently having right now. The reasons why they have the issues that they have right now is because their coach is too inexperienced in knowing how to win the tight games, and that's where some of the better coaches have taken advantage of him in the tight games. This is not even to say that Doc Rivers even coached a good game for the Philadelphia 76ers either, because let's be honest, Joel Embiid and James Harden just bailed them out, quite frankly. He did not make a lot of good decisions throughout the game. And Doc Rivers, although he's put up good win-loss records, you look at him in the playoffs and he hasn't done a good job in the playoffs in general with his coaching throughout the years. Outside that 2008 title run that he had with the Boston Celtics, there's a reason why Doc Rivers has come up short in the playoffs time and time again. And if the Boston Celtics lose this series to the Philadelphia 76ers, they have nobody but to blame for themselves. The Boston Celtics are clearly the better team. They've been playing like they're the better team. If they had just known how to close out the tight games, you guys realize that the Boston Celtics would have just swept the Philadelphia 76ers. The fact that they don't know how to win the close games, that's going to be a problem for them. Do I think that they can still beat the 76ers? Yes, I do. I think the 76ers, they're Joel Embiid, James Harden, and everybody else. And James Harden is sometimes a come-and-go player. But the Boston Celtics, they got a good 8-man rotation. They've got guys that have had chemistry with each other for years, and they should be able to win this series. They've been the more dominant team in this series. They've been playing better than the Philadelphia 76ers overall. They got a better roster. The only thing the Boston Celtics don't have that the Philadelphia 76ers have is Joel Embiid, and that's because Joel Embiid is the MVP, and he's the MVP for a reason. Whether you guys agree with it or not, that's not really the point here. The point is Joel Embiid is a fantastic basketball player, and he's great at what he does. But this Philadelphia 76ers team should not be able to beat the Boston Celtics team. This Celtics team is supposed to be deep. They're supposed to have stars all over the court. They're supposed to have good defense. They're supposed to have solid three-point shooting. They're supposed to pass the ball really well, and they're supposed to be able to switch onto everything and be versatile on the defensive end of the floor. Now, do I think the Boston Celtics win this series in 6 games? I think they still can do that. However, I have concerns that the Boston Celtics might not be able to do anything beyond that. Now, if they play the New York Knicks, okay, then the Boston Celtics are going to win that series because the Boston Celtics are just too talented compared to the New York Knicks, and the New York Knicks don't have a great offense anyways outside of Jalen Brunson. But if they have to play the Miami Heat, don't get fooled now by their 8-seeded status. The Miami Heat are getting red hot at the right time. They're well coached, Eric Spoelstra's experience, and the reason why the Celtics beat the Heat last year was because Jimmy Butler missed an open 3 late in that game, which is a shot that he can make. I doubt Jimmy Butler would miss that same kind of shot twice, and the Celtics now have a worse coach than they did last year. So if the Celtics have to play against a team like the Miami Heat, I'm not confident that Joe Mazzulla could outcoach Eric Spoelstra. The only reason why the Celtics might be able to beat the Heat this year is if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown go off repeatedly game after game after game, while Jimmy Butler regresses back to the mean. But I don't anticipate that happening. This Boston Celtics team is not going to go back to the NBA Finals. With the way that they keep treating these close games, they're not going to get the deal done. I just don't see it happening. From what I've seen with Joe Mazzulla, he's been a liability in this year's NBA playoffs, and I expect him to continue being a liability for the Boston Celtics. So that is why I do not have a lot of trust in Joe Mazzulla for the Celtics, as he will be the main reason for why the Boston Celtics will not return to the NBA Finals this season. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Dustin Tran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.